Hey everyone, welcome to the UFO Hub live stream. Today is open lines where I hope to talk to some of you about your supernatural stories. And of course, I have some news and videos to share with you as well. That depends on which one comes first, whether one of you logs in to talk to me. Otherwise, I will start sharing those. Of course, in the description below this video, you will have the link for the Telegram group where you can download the software on your computer or your telephone and basically join the UFO Hub chat, where there will be a voice chat going on right now where you will be able to listen and also contribute and talk to me. If you don't want to do that and you're watching on one of the other platforms, you can, in the comments below, you can put 3 asterisks and put your question down, so that way I know it's directed towards me. If there's a guest or somebody else that wants to share their story and some of you have some questions, that asterisk method helps me then to know that this question is for the person that's sharing their story. So anyway, there's some things that are new that I would like to share with you, and some things are some of the older UFO videos with some, I guess, some new discoveries, or maybe somebody finally started paying attention, but I'll get to those here in a second. So anyway, let me switch over and get things going. Just want to check real quick. All right, looks like I'm live and we're going on live and everywhere else. I wanted to basically make sure that I don't have the same thing happen like it did last time, where I thought I'm streaming and YouTube was lagging behind and some of you didn't start listening until just about 10 minutes into it. All right. So the first thing I want to cover is, so basically most of you know that Tim Burchett, if I remember correctly how to pronounce his name, and Representative Luna and 2 others have been kind of the people that have been pushing this UFO disclosure or UAP disclosure, whichever whichever term you want to use. But that's not necessarily to say that some of the other senators are on board with what's going on from some of the other states. Those 4 that had the UAP hearing were kind of in the forefront, but this one is just an interesting clip from Senator, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Oh, here we go. Senator Hawley from Missouri. And he basically just has an interesting take on that he basically said on News Nation. So I want to play that clip for you now.
Senator Josh Hawley says he can't verify whether the UAP program exists, but says some of the claims Grush is making track with what Hawley's heard in briefings.
He's saying that the government knows more about this than they had previously let on. That doesn't really surprise me, because it looks to me like the government has been tracking these UAPs for a long time now and has not been saying much about it.
Senator.
All right, so that's that. And I think maybe Grush, that the one that kind of is the main person that testified, for those of you that don't know, he might have a feeling he could potentially come out more, basically talk about more, because everything during the hearing, it's always been, well, I'll tell you basically later in a, what's it called, a skiff, I believe, a secure room, if I'm not mistaken, other people involved in all this cover up. And so a lot of that was going on during that hearing. It was like, I can't tell you now, or I can't speak about this here, and so on. So I'm hoping that in the very near future, he would be able to just kind of open up more and just finally spit it out. But on the other news, they have, I think it's been a couple of days, maybe a bit more than a couple of days, they have finally released an official Pentagon site. And so it's aaro.mil, so arrow.mil. And they have a little disclosure on top. It says an official website of the United States government. Here's how you know. And they say a .mil website belongs to an official U.S. Department of Defense organization in the United States. And then, of course, talking about that it's the .mil, it's a secure site with the HTTPS little lock on top. And so anyway, I personally did not search through the site. I'm sorry, I can't give you that info, but you can actually look it up yourself. And apparently you can search here for some certain things. regarding what they have available for you to see. And if you scroll down, there's some more slides of some previous presentations that if you watch them online, you recognize them. And the basically PowerPoint presentations. And then under specifically cases, under official UAP videos, they have all the videos posted. I think it's all the videos posted that they have used to analyze and basically use this kind of to study and figure out, okay, is this a unidentified aerial phenomena, a UFO, or is this something they can identify? And so, of course, a lot of these are also something that are very recognizable. If you look at them, we've seen them before. The object in the Middle East, there's the what we know as the Tic Tac. And so anyway, so check it out. But then, of course, I want to show you a clip about, I want to see if it's a senator or is it a representative. Either way, Tim Burchett basically talking about this site, and he makes some pretty good points. It's about close to 5 minutes. So I want to play this for you now, and then we'll take it from there.
Suspect there's some truth.
Whoops,
and we are welcoming in a congressman at the forefront of the UAP hearing, U.S. Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee. Congressman Burchett, it's so good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
Let's start with the Pentagon launching that new website. It does provide some declassified information on UFOs, including pictures and video, so the public can take a look. Now, you've said about the Pentagon smells dollars. What do you mean by that?
Well, since 1947, the Pentagon has denied that UFOs even exist. And now all of a sudden they're saying they exist. And it's ironic that it's right after Chuck Schumer has said that he's going to put something in the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, to in fact screen photos that if they have any national defense or national security implications, that they won't be able to put them out. So what they've done is put another layer of government, more dollars. You know, the Pentagon loses $1 billion a year easily. They've never passed an audit. At some points, they've had 60% of their military of their assets unaccounted for. Anywhere else, and you'd be in handcuffs. What do we do with the Pentagon? We reward them with more tax dollars every year. So this, to me, shows nothing. Y'all as journalists and me as a congressman, I just want transparency. Yeah. I want them to release the files that they have.
And I know you've called for that over and over again. It sounds like ultimately you don't feel that this website will be useful or reveal anything we haven't seen before.
No, ma'am. As a matter of fact, the stuff that's on it already is old stuff. You know, they denied that the Tic Tac videos even existed. You can Google Tic Tac video on YouTube and watch them. And they denied they even existed, and then they were leaked, and they said they were fakes. And then they had the audio of the pilots, and they turned out to be some of the best pilots in the world. And they were forced to have to come forward with that, saying then. So I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I've said before, I think the Pentagon is mostly a bunch of war pimps. All they're doing is selling war, and we just roll out the cash for them. And it's unfortunate.
I want to pick up on what you said about transparency a moment ago, because since these hearings, you've been saying, just bring me transparency. So what do you think the important next step is? What concrete step do you want to see?
I would like to see the files released to the American public. You know, you're talking about in Washington, D.C., that won't even release the Kennedy assassination files. Nobody's even alive in any of those that dealt with that assassination or that was involved in it. Yet with these UFOs, it's almost a weekly occurrence. I talk to pilots all the time. We're blocked from talking to pilots. They are basically they'll be reprimanded if they do come forward. I had an amendment to the FAA, the Federal Aviation Reauthorization Act, and to just say if a commercial pilot spots a UFO or UAP or some kind of aerial phenomena, that in the report that they make to the FAA, that they have to issue that report to Congress. Well, guess what? The intelligence community, not the committee, the community told Congress they were uneasy with that. So the gutless bunch in Congress, both parties, decided not even to hear the amendment that I had proposed. So if they don't exist, they sure are spending a hell of a lot of time and money and effort to stop us from seeing their files. I suspect there's greed, there's money, there's reverse engineering, there's all kinds of things that are involved in this. And until we get some transparency, we'll never get to the bottom of it.
And
But yet
Congressman, you've said that you are 100% sure the federal government is covering up documents about UFOs. In your view, what is the government's motive for a lack of transparency on UAPs?
That's a good question. There's a compartmentalization of this. You have an incredible, in these videos you're watching, there's no heat signature. These things are defying any kind of, we had the pilots in our testimony swear that these things were, there's nothing on the planet Earth or any of our enemies or allies have that could do anything like this. Yet there's an energy source in there that doesn't put off a heat signature. Could you imagine what that would do to the Pentagon? They would be out of business, for one. We wouldn't need to be fighting these worthless oils over a barrel of oil in the Middle East. We could heat our homes in the winter. Poor folks could stay cool in the summer. We might be able to power our automobiles and other things with this energy source. Yet it's, to me, there's something else aloof, ma'am. And it's generally in Washington, D.C., it's about greed, it's about power, and it's about control. And you combine all those things into this, and I suspect there's some truth in that.
Thank you for watching. Go to
Yeah, I think he makes some really good points, but a lot of the points that we all been saying from the beginning of this, basically, the technology itself is revolutionary. It would basically just take all these different companies that we pretty much have to rely on, power companies, gas companies, all of them basically out of business. And so, yeah, the way it started, I'm still, I know a lot of you out there are very skeptical about, what's going on, which direction this whole disclosure that, what shape it will take. But I think this is the beginning. If we have more senators like that, representatives like that in Congress, in government in general, talking in these terms, and people actually listening for a change, they can next time maybe support somebody that is all for disclosure, along with everything else that they want, from them, in office. Unless the whole system changes, I don't know how soon, or if at all. And, we don't have representatives anymore, or it takes form of some other shape or form or shape. What am I trying to say? Form or never mind. I can't speak English today. Basically, it takes another shape altogether than what it is right now. But anyway, so I think that's pretty refreshing to have somebody that's a sitting government official talking in the way that he's talking, because usually they'll start talking about that once they're retired and are out of office, and always makes you wonder. It's like, why didn't you say that while you were in office, when you had some influence, when you could have done something? So I'm glad at least he's doing it. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is this one is, this one is an older video, and I'm describing this real quick for those that are listening only. It's a video where some say it's a missile, others say it's a downed UFO, and basically it comes in this, it doesn't have sound, so I guess I could play it as you're watching it. It comes down, hits the ground, ricochets, it seems to kind of speed back up, do kind of a wide and elongated fall back down, and then finally falls into pieces. And so some say this is basically a missile that didn't explode and impact and then eventually disintegrated. Others say this is not what a missile would act like or behave like, because it seems like the whole object itself is glowing in this very weird way, almost like you would have a disc shape object in a way, just glowing, and then having whatever difficulties it's having that eventually cause it to crash. And if there were any occupants, I don't know how they could possibly survive that if you ever watched this video. But yeah, no, so just want to let you know out there is talks about that, there's missile, that this is a missile and so on, but a lot of things I was trying to find, they couldn't find, or at least they didn't provide any specific links where this was kind of researched and said, okay, well, here, this is the proof that this is what's going on. Instead, we were just kind of stuck again at this speculation that if it's a UFO, it's incredible that this was captured. And even if it's a missile, it's incredible nonetheless. Okay, so let me go on to the next video. And so this one, I think this was a few days ago, maybe 4 or 5 days ago, September 2nd. And this is something that somebody recorded over what location exactly, I don't know. There's somebody, this person is asking if these are the similar or the same objects that are captured or were captured at Nellis Air Force Base. And it's just a question, but I'm going to just play it for you and for you to see what it exactly is. And I'm going to mute the sound here real quick. So the video is still playing for those listening. It's basically a bunch of orbs, about 4 or 5 of them, occasionally more, that would kind of come together and then align in weird ways and then start chasing each other and really moving and turning in really interesting ways. Whether or not this could be drones, I don't know, because I'm not sure how long ago this was exactly filmed, and whether or not drones were really, because drones weren't really that prevalent back then. And obviously nowadays you can easily fool people, but it looks pretty impressive just seeing a bunch of these orbs chasing each other around the sky, and just adding it to one more UFO video to debunk, or to just figure out what in the world it exactly is or was. All right, next video. So this one is actually a video I've seen often, and I think I've seen this on Coast to Coast AM long time ago. I think it was 2005 or 2006, so it's pushing out there in the years. But anyway, this is, I mean, when I first saw it, this is obviously way older. It's from a Apollo 10 mission, and you see the module that basically is kind of hovering, or was released, I believe, from I guess separated, and there's camera in the, I think, rear section filming the separation, and then you see this small but very clear orb that's just kind of flying by. And of course, if you're an UFO enthusiast, you want that to be an unidentified flying object. Some might say, okay, this was something that was released from the modules themselves, and so it obviously reflects the sun and has that glow to it. But anyway, I'll play it for you and you can see it yourself. It comes up in the very beginning of the video, and I don't think it repeats again, so pay close attention. I'll try to follow with the mouse. But it comes up from right here, right there, and goes by, and basically it's just flies by, and that way it's been recorded that way and hasn't been altered. And you would have thought, if this was something that they would want to not show or alter in some way, if they don't want people to speculate, but either somehow they missed it or it was left there on purpose. Okay, it's repeating now. It's only 25 seconds, but it's looping in the Twitter stream itself. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this last one was actually a couple of days ago, let me see what location this was, Tampa, Florida. And so most of you will know, if you basically have a asteroid entering the atmosphere, it glows very brightly for a little while and then it breaks off. It basically just disappears, and we generally call them shooting stars, and it's usually something really associated, with romance. But this is something entirely different, that is just, it flies across the sky, it leaves a huge trail, but it doesn't dissipate. So anyway, I'll just play that for you. It has some sound, and here we go.
Get the video, get the video.
I'm getting a video. There's this huge thing making a re-entry right now. Huge fireball up in the sky. That's actually sick. It's just leaving a trail across the sky.
That thing's coming from like several times the speed of sound into the atmosphere. It's crossing over the sky. Hold on, I need to get out and record this. Look at that thing. Oh, I gotta record on it. But yeah, it's gorgeous. Look at it. And it only took it like a few seconds to go from one end of the sky to the other. It's like fading off in the distance now. I can barely even capture it.
So there it is. So, and again, it could either be, and basically maybe a satellite re-entering and burning up in orbit, and we don't know about it. And it's just taken a very, very long time to burn up and just leaving this trail behind. But most of the time, I don't know about you, but all I've ever seen that it's there for a short time and it doesn't linger around in this way. But anyway, it's an interesting video to see. If you have more information, if you're watching right now, please leave some comments in the comment section below. But anyway, that's all I have for you today, news-wise and video-wise. If some of you still want to call in over Telegram to share your stories with me, I'm still here for a little bit. If you have any questions, maybe that you can direct towards me or have other statements to make, just please make sure you put this three asterisks and your question down, and I'll see what you've written. All right, let's see here. We have Labels. Labels, welcome. Good to see you again. Jamie, hello. Kurt, Freddie, Roll the Losing Dice, T, Mr., and Hazel. Welcome. Yep. Yeah, no, so it's been very interesting just with basically the way things have been going. Today I spent most of the day cutting up an interview that I did with Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar, and basically created a whole bunch of little shorts. I have about 5 of them, and I will cut out even more. But I think now more than ever, it's important to this information that's always been here to just keep pushing it to the forefront, because what he was talking about and most videos that I have on are just as relevant now than they were relevant back then. And it's about what channeling means, what these different ETs are from his perspective, and all these other things. So even if you're not into that, it's at least worth hearing about it, learning about it, so that if something like that comes across your path, you will have that information. Otherwise, just there's nothing wrong with you just treating it the way you treat every other piece of entertainment, where it's just something memorable that you watched, and just leaving it at that. But then, of course, there's some people that if they don't like it, they just have some very negative reactions that just feel like they have to just let it all out. So anyway, I don't know why you would waste your time when you can just simply, okay, this is not what I'm about, this is not what I want to see, and just move on. But I guess they just make it a point to leave some negative comments. But anyway, what basically kind of prompted me to this is that the same way that I was saying quite some time ago, the way disclosure is going right now, eventually we're going to have to face these other things like ET human contact. What was the hybrid program? Because there's hundreds, if not thousands of people that have gone through the process, that have written their stories, have told their stories, have basically made their stories public, to where I don't know at what point or how long you can go on basically ignoring that and still call yourself a researcher. Because as a researcher, you're supposed to kind of go down this route into everything that you can possibly research about the subject. Because if not just one, but 2 and 3 and so on, thousands of people have these constant stories of constantly being contacted, that right there tells you, hey, there is potentially more here that we need to look into, instead of just, nope, let's block all that out. We'll only look at lights in the sky. At what time was it recorded? Is there video footage? If not, that's it. There's nothing else to deal with here. And I think it's a very closed-minded way to look at it, if especially you want to say that you're looking at this scientifically. Okay. All right. Well, if some of you don't have any other questions for me, or don't want me to mention or maybe talk about some other things, I don't have anyone else that is calling in or wanting to talk. So I was hoping maybe some Bigfoot stories or alien stories or other things, but it seems like it's probably not going to happen tonight. But anyway, I'm going to keep that up and keep it going to make it available for those that maybe in the future might come across it and want to share their story and tell about it. And I'm here for that. All right. So, well, anyway, thanks all of you. I hope you found this little bit of information that I shared with you today useful. And join me again next week at 7 p.m. Hopefully, if I'm having open lines, that we'll actually have some guests calling in. If not, I have been actually still trying to set appointments and get more guests in. And like I said last time, I think I have a feeling the second all of them start rolling back in, I'll just have one guest after another each Wednesday, because it's just the way things have been happening with a lot of the scheduling is that it's just all postponed, and I just have a feeling the wave is going to come in here very soon. So anyway, well, thanks to all of you. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you. If you like this video or any of the other videos on this channel, please like and share them and spread the word. Subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you next time. All right, you take care.